So guys, this is the part 2 in the Linux fundamentals, and we are going to continue from the where we left off. Okay. So in the last part 1, we saw that I have created a user Bob. If I switch to user Bob, as you hyphen space the username, so I can see that right now there is nothing present inside this Bob user, right? So the thing that I want to show you is if I go to slash home slash Ubuntu and then Linux. So I have many files present there, like the files I created few minutes back, right, in the part 1. So if I do ls-lrt, I can see the permissions of these files, right? So now let's try to edit this test.txt file as a Bob user. So the text editor is nano test.txt. Okay. So if it is only already saying that this is unwritable, right? So if I let me again try to add something here, let's say test, and to save it, just do control X plus Y and then enter. Now it throws me an error that the permission is denied. So why is that? Why I got this permission denied error when I'm trying to do something as a Bob user? So let's do again control X, then press N and for no. Now I am outside of my text.txt file. So if I do now for clear the screen you can simply do control plus L in your keyboard. Okay, but if I do ls hyphen lrt again, I can see that the file owner for this test.txt is root, and as I told you, these are the file permissions that is being currently assigned to this file. And you can see that this last thing, as I told, this is for the file owner, this is for the group to this user belongs to. Okay, and this is basically for the user. The last thing you are saying only read, this is what permissions does other user have on my file. Okay, so this represent that so right now this is having only read permissions. That's why if I do cat test.txt, so I will be able to read the content. But if I do nano and try to edit it, or try to write something inside this file, I won't be able to do that. So this is what does this read means. Okay, so let me come out of again of that. Now I'm inside my root, and if I try to edit, let's go to Ubuntu. Okay, let's go to Ubuntu and go inside my Linux folder. Here are my files again, right? Test.txt test directory and the permissions. And again, if I want to go inside test, the command is cd. Come out of the test, it's cd dot dot. So let me talk about one more important concept, that is the file structure in Linux. Okay. But before that, as I told you, root user is the user which have permission to do anything. It's like the daddy. Okay, root user is the daddy user. So daddy user it has the permission to do anything, like it can read any file, write any file, delete any file, switch to any user, and so on. But if you remember, when I created the user Bob, I gave a password to the user Bob, right? But now, let's say I'm working in a company. Now the Bob comes to me and Bob say, hey, I want to change the password. I want to change my password. How can I do that? So as a Linux administrator, your task could be, or as a cloud engineer, you need to change the password, right? So the command for the same is passwd and the username. Okay, so you can put on the new password, let's say Bob3, again put on the new password, and my password has been upgraded successfully. Okay, so to update the user password, the command is passwd. Okay, and if I switch to Bob user, it is not asking me for password. Why? Because as I told you, root user can switch to any user and without any password. But let's say if let me switch to Sam user again. If I try to switch to Bob user from Sam user, it is now going to ask you password because Sam user doesn't have all the permissions, right? So I have to put on the Bob user password if I want to log in inside as Bob. I did, and now I'm inside my Bob user again. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. And let me come out of this Sam and Bob. So I hope things are clear till now. And now let's talk about the Linux file structure. So Linux has a file structure that is start with slash. Okay, if I do cd slash, so inside the slash, all my system files are present. So I have bin, I have dev, I have home, media, mnt proc, run, snap, sys, and user, etc. Right? These are all the system files. And just remember that whenever you see the Linux directory structure diagram, so the first file is the slash. So slash is the parent directory, and within this slash, all my subdirectories are present. For example, if I go inside this bin directory, this bin, right? If I do ls, I can see multiple binaries here. Now these binaries are nothing; they are just the Linux command that I was just using few minutes back. And apart from the commands, there are many binaries are present inside. For example, which, what is, watch, lscpu, lsipc, lsmount. These are all my Linux commands. Okay. So if I do cd dot dot and again, let's say, um, uh, let's do ls again. So you see ls is, so basically this is coming from binary which is present inside the bin directory. Okay. So, and for example, let's say if I put insert any pen drive, any hard drive inside my laptop, so that is going to be present inside this media folder, right? So now if I explain you the working of another directory, let's talk about this boot directory. Okay, so this boot directory contains all my files that will be loaded when my system will be started. So whenever you switch on your laptop, so all the files will be loaded from this boot directory. Okay, so you can learn about all these directories on the Linux documentation as well. Okay, for example, this mnt directory, mount directory, right? So if you want to mount any pen drive, any folder within this Linux, so you can go to simply mnt and then check there. So if I go to slash cd inside mnt, and nothing is there, so you can mount any folder from your pen drive or from one within your system, also from one directory to another inside this mnt. Okay, and again, let's go to home directory now. You see this is having a home directory. So as I told you, whenever you create a user, so its home directory will be present inside the slash home. So right now I have two users inside this Ubuntu machine, that is Ubuntu and Bob. So all whatever user I will create, so this that user's home directory will be present inside cd slash home. Okay, so you can read about all the directories in detail by going to the Linux documentation. Now let's say, let me tell you one important thing. So we have this inbuilt guide within my terminal also. So let's say if I want to learn about any command, let's say I want to learn about what does pwd command do. So the command, so there is an inbuilt guide called man. So man is the inbuilt user guide in Linux. So with man you can just go and simply see what our, like, which command used for what purpose. So let's say if I type man space pwd, it will just show me the information, that is it is used to print the name of the current and the working directory. Okay, now you can quit it, simply press q. Now do man, let's say ls. Ls is used to list the directory. Okay, so this is again very helpful command. Now if you like similar to man, we have this hyphen hyphen help flag. So if I do pwd space hyphen hyphen help, it will just show me what this pwd command is used for, what like what all the other flags that I can use with this pwd. Let's say chmod hyphen hyphen help. So it will show me what this chmod, like, it is used to, the chmod command is used, right? So you can say that change the mode of each file to mode, right? So the chmod is changed to change the ownership of file permissions. So either you can use man, either you can use hyphen hyphen help. So both will do the same thing. Okay. These are like the inbuilt guide we have. Cool. And just remember this to run apt update and apt upgrade also. Okay. So I guess that's it. I guess this is enough to help you to gain insights on the Linux. And after watching this video, I hope you have a little bit confidence. But again, you have to try everything on your machine also, step by step, what I just did in this. And definitely it will help you to gain some confidence. But again, remember the commands like mkdir to create a directory, Okay, and if I do ls, and yep, one more thing, let me tell you. Let's suppose I want to remove a directory. I just did. I just created a directory, but what if I want to remove it? So the command to remove the directory is rm hyphen rf and the directory name. Okay. Now, if I want to remove a file, so let's say, let's first create a file, touch test.txt. Now let's say I want to remove this file name. So how can I do that? Just simply do space hyphen f, okay, and just put the file name as test.txt. If I do ls again, now my both the file is gone, right? The test.txt has been successfully deleted. Okay, to remove a directory, you have to put this additional r with hyphen f, but to remove a file only, just simply use hyphen f. So rm again used to remove your content, okay, inside the Linux. So if I do rm hyphen hyphen help, so these are the various options that I have with rm hyphen use hyphen f to forcefully remove a directory. If recursively want to remove this, so this is this. So let me show you one more example of removal. Let me go inside my Linux. And as I told, as in the part one, we created many files inside, like 3 files inside this test folder, right? 1.txt, 2.txt, and 3.txt. Let's say I want to remove all the files recursively. I just want to remove the files, not the directory. So how can I do that? So for that, rm hyphen rf test and okay. If I press enter, you see my directory is there, right? But if I go to inside this test directory, now if I do ls, but all the content has been deleted of this directory, right? So I hope this makes sense. And now I guess we have covered all the basic and the major commands that you should know as when you are starting with Linux. And we have discussed the file structure. We have discussed, yep, if I want to check which user you're logged into, you can use who am I am root, pwd to print the current working directory you are right now. If I want to check the now let me tell you one more thing that if you there's one important file called as etc pass. So there's a pass wd file which contains the information regarding all the user that exist inside your Linux system. Okay, so you see if I just cat the content out of this pass wd file which is present inside this etc directory. So you see all the users. These are the users which exist in my system right now. You see the Sam and the Bob user that I created, and these are just the user ID and the group ID. So what is this user ID and the group ID? How you can check that? Just simply type ID and it will show you the user ID and the group ID of the user which you are logged in through right now. So I'm logged in as a root. Always remember that the user ID and the your group ID of the root is zero always. In any system, the user ID of the root is always zero. Now let's say if I want to check the user ID of Bob, so let's switch into Bob user and type ID again. So the user ID of Bob is 1003 and the group ID of the Bob is 1003 as well. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you and you are able to list down all the users and check the user ID and group ID as well. So thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. And yep, I hope you have a great day ahead and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.